shift on Orpheus Outpost, a drifting maintenance station orbiting the dead moon of the Los 4. The stars outside burned cold and indifferent, and the hum of the reactor was the only heartbeat of the place. The knock came again. 3 soft taps, deliberate, impossible. No one could be outside. The outpost's nearest companion station was 40 light minutes away. He grabbed his helmet and went to the viewport. And there, through the frosted glass of the decompression hatch, a figure stood, glowing faintly blue beneath the emergency lights. Not human. The figure pressed a small, slender hand against the glass, eyes wide, eyes that shimmered with galaxies inside them. Requesting shelter, came the voice, echoing through the comm line somehow, though no signal should have existed. Please. I am cold. Vance's pulse raced. He disabled the quarantine lock, overriding every rule he'd been trained to follow. The outer hatch slid open with a hiss of air. The figure stepped in, tall, poised, wrapped in a cloak of what looked like liquid light. Beneath it, her skin gleamed faint silver blue, and fine tendrils of light traced along her temples, moving like living tattoos. Her voice was soft, melodic, alien. Can I shower in your room, human? Vance blinked. Excuse me. She tilted her head, frowning slightly, as if calculating how to phrase her words in English. Your water chamber. I require cleansing. The dust of war lingers on me. War, Vance whispered. Her eyes, bright as twin nebulas, dimmed with sadness. I have fled from a dying star. To the alien princess. Her name, as best as he could pronounce it, was Elira, daughter of the 7th House of Lyri, from the world of Minter, a world long lost to the wars of the Syrinx Dominion. She stood in his quarters, gazing curiously at the simplest things, the flickering hollow clock, the fabric of his bunk, even the reflection of herself in the mirror. When she turned on the shower, the sound of falling water made her shiver. You have rivers inside walls, she murmured. Vance leaned against the frame, still trying to process the absurdity of the moment. You said you fled from war. How did you end up here? I rode a fracture in space, she said. A corridor of dying light. My vessel was torn apart. I fell through the debris field of your planet's moon. Your beacon was the only pulse I could follow. He frowned. You came alone. She nodded, closing her eyes as the water ran over her. My escorts are gone. My people are gone. I am all that remains of Lyri's bloodline. Vance looked away. He'd seen refugees before, human ones, after battles between colonies. But there was something haunting about her composure, her quiet dignity amid tragedy. When she emerged from the steam, she wore one of his spare maintenance coveralls, slightly oversized, sleeves rolled up. The glowing sigils along her neck dimmed to faint embers. You saved me, she said softly. Why? He gave a small, nervous laugh. Guess I've got a bad habit of not letting people die on my doorstep. She smiled, a strange, dazzling smile that seemed to hold 1,000 meanings. Then your doorstep is blessed, Lieutenant Vance. 3. The outpost and the starlit guest. Over the following days, Elira became an unlikely resident of Orpheus Outpost. She helped recalibrate solar collectors, repaired the failing AI core with technology far beyond human design, and even adjusted the reactor so it burned 40% cleaner. But she also asked endless questions. Why do humans sleep with eyes closed? Why do you name your machines after myths? Why do you listen to music that makes you remember pain? And every time she asked, Vance tried to answer, though he never felt his responses were enough. One evening, as he sat in the mess hall, she entered silently, her glowing patterns tracing gentle spirals across her collarbones. She held a small, cracked sphere, metallic, crystalline. "This is what they hunted me for," she said, placing it on the table. "The starseed of Minter." The sphere pulsed faintly, and for a moment, the air shimmered with images. Vast blue oceans under triple suns, towers of crystal, laughter echoing across light years. "It holds the genetic memory of my people," Aelira said. "Every voice, every dream. I was to bring it to safety. But the Syrinx tracked us. They consume civilizations to feed their singularity." Vance stared, awed and terrified. "And now they're coming here." She nodded slowly. "They always follow the seed. For the signal." By the fifth night, the sensors began picking up strange distortions beyond the moon's horizon. Gravitational ripples, faint but rhythmic, like footsteps approaching across the void. Vance sat with Aelira in the control room, watching the readings. "They found us," he murmured. She was calm, almost serene. "They always find me. The seed is a beacon. We can hide it," Vance said. "Drop it into the reactor core. Mask its emissions." Lyra shook her head. "If the seed is destroyed, my civilization dies forever. No rebirth, no memory. Then we fight." Aelira turned to him, her expression unreadable. "You would fight the Syrinx for me?" "I've got nothing else worth fighting for," he said quietly. Something flickered in her eyes then. Not just gratitude, but something deeper, fragile, dangerous. "You are not like the others," she said. "Most humans I've met through your histories, in transmissions and recordings, seek conquest. Yet you offer sanctuary." He tried to smile. "I guess I'm an outdated model." Midnight that night. The outpost drifted through a curtain of ionized dust. The stars outside looked like falling embers. Vance lay awake in his bunk when he heard the soft chime of his door. Aelira stood there, wrapped again in her silver cloak. Her luminous tattoos pulsed softly in the dark. "Can I stay here tonight?" she whispered. Vance sat up, startled. "Are you all right?" "I feel the end approaching," she said. "The Syrinx are close. I do not wish to face the dark alone." He gestured for her to come in. She sat on the edge of his bunk, her fingers tracing the seams of the blanket. "Human warmth," she murmured, "is so fragile, yet it burns brighter than any star." He hesitated, unsure what to say. "You sound like you've been studying poetry." "I've been studying you." A silence stretched between them, filled only by the hum of the life support vents. Then she turned to him, her voice trembling. "May I ask something strange?" He smiled faintly. "Stranger than everything else this week." Her lips curved in that faint, celestial smile. "Can I shower in your room again, human?" He blinked, caught off guard. She continued, her tone almost shy. "Not for cleansing. For memory. My kind absorbs fragments of emotion through water. I wish to remember this piece, in your presence." He nodded slowly, understanding more than words could express. The shower hissed to life, and she stood beneath it, eyes closed, as the light on her skin danced in ripples. Vance watched from the threshold, feeling as if he were witnessing something sacred. When she turned off the water, droplets glowed like constellations across her skin. She looked at him with a mixture of sorrow and longing. "If I do not survive tomorrow," she said softly, "promise me you'll keep the seed safe." "You're going to survive," he said firmly. "I'll make sure of it." She stepped closer, her hand rising to his cheek. "Humans always promise the impossible." 6. The attack. The Syrinx ships came with no warning. Black shapes that absorbed light, slipping out of hyperspace like predatory shadows. Alarms screamed. The outpost shields flared. Vance sprinted to the command deck. "We've got 3 inbound." Elira was already there, the starseed clutched in her hands, glowing fiercely now. "They're locking onto the seed," she said. "We must leave the station. There's nowhere to go." "There is always somewhere," she said, and with a gesture, the air in front of her split open, revealing a rippling window of blue-white energy. "A portal. My last strength," she whispered. "A bridge to the Halo Nebula. A place beyond their reach." The Syrinx fired. The outpost shuddered violently. Sparks rained from the ceiling. Vance grabbed her hand. "We go together." But she pulled free, tears of light streaking her cheeks. "If I take you, the portal will collapse. Your body is not made for the transit." "I don't care," she leaned forward, silencing him with a touch to his lips. "You have given me kindness, Owen Vance. That is rarer than any technology in the stars." The outpost's hull screamed as another blast tore through it. Fire flooded the corridor. Elira turned, stepping toward the portal. "When your world looks to the sky and sees a new star, remember me." "Wait!" Vance shouted, but she was already inside the light, her silhouette dissolving like mist. And then she was gone. The portal vanished. The Syrinx ships vanished too, pulled away as if into another dimension. Silence returned. Orpheus outpost drifted, half-ruined but alive. 7. The echo of her light weeks passed. Rescue finally arrived. A patrol from the Sol Federation. They found Vance alone, malnourished but alive, clutching a single crystalline sphere. "The seed," he told them. "It's her legacy." They examined it, but no one could decipher its inner workings. It was neither machine nor code. It was memory itself, pulsing faintly, waiting. Vance was debriefed, questioned, dismissed as delirious by most of the fleet. The official report listed contact with unknown species and loss of outpost due to spatial anomaly. But Vance knew the truth. He returned to Earth, retired from active service, and settled in a quiet coastal town. At night, he would sit on the balcony, the starseed resting beside him, glowing softly in rhythm with his heartbeat. One evening, as the tide came in and the stars began to rise, he heard a faint voice, not through speakers but inside his mind. "Owen!" His breath caught. "Elira!" The glow from the seed intensified, casting ripples of blue light across the waves. "I am beyond the veil," the voice whispered, "but I endure through you." He closed his eyes, tears mingling with the sea air. "You made it." "Yes. The Halo Nebula shelters what remains of Minter. I am rebuilding piece by piece. And you are written in our history now." Vance laughed softly, half in disbelief, half in joy. "That's one hell of a legacy for a maintenance officer." Her voice smiled. "You were never just that human." The glow faded, but the warmth lingered, a warmth that felt like a distant hand resting on his heart. 8. Epilogue. The new star. Years later, astronomers observed a phenomenon, a new star blooming near the Halo Nebula. It shone blue-white, constant, unexplainable. They named it Elira's star. Owen Vance watched it from his balcony every night until the end of his days. When he passed, the starseed was found beside him, still glowing faintly. Scientists studied it for centuries, but none could replicate its resonance. And sometimes, when the right frequencies were scanned, faint whispers could be heard from within the crystal. A woman's voice, soft as starlight. "Can I shower in your room, human?" And another voice, laughing warm. "Any time, princess."